watched my last video, you know that I was trying to fulfill an Avengers. I was trying to watch every single Avengers themed movie, you know, everyone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, before the Winter Soldier came out. I only made it through Phase 1, as you can see. I think I put on Iron Man 3 the day, on Thursday, the night of the premiere. And then I fell asleep. I was just too tired. So I didn't make it to Phase 2. But let's go ahead and start on these. Before we jump into my mini reviews of those, I watched this. Captain America. Now I gotta say, I don't know what happened here, why they didn't go with the route of a sequel. This movie right here, my God, this is probably the greatest Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life. The special effects were top notch. They're blowing away anything Marvel's doing right now. Anything the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done. The special effects here are way better. His costume, his shield. There's a picture of the Red Skull back there. Tell me he doesn't look better than Hugo Weaving's Red Skull. The story, the soundtrack, just the whole feel of this movie was way better than anything Marvel's put out. All that was a lie. This movie was pure garbage. I can't even begin to tell you how stupid this movie was. It was cheesy. It's basically the opposite of everything I just said. The special effects were crap. The story was crap. The only thing this movie had going for it is it had the classic look of Captain America. If you haven't seen this, don't worry. You're not missing out. I think this was released, yeah, it's a Shout Factory special edition. Collector's edition. It's not worth it. Don't get it. Alright, so here we have, first I watched Iron Man. I actually hadn't seen this one for quite a while. This movie is really good. You know, I thought it was good before, but watching it again, it's you know, you revisit and you think, oh, you know, yeah, that was a really good movie. This really was. You know, all you guys, you've seen it, you know the premise of it, but I really enjoyed it. I like how they went with the Ironmonger. You know, I don't really know too much about Iron Man's origins. I watched the cartoon show in the 90s a little bit. I briefly read a couple comics. So I know a little bit about Iron Man. I don't know too much, but I like that. I like how they did the villain. And this one and Iron Man 2, they were all tech-based. Like, you know, it was very realistic because it could have been based on technology. I thought that was a cool little concept that they did there until they got to part 3 and, you know, it kind of unraveled. But, you know, I didn't watch part 3, so we're not doing that review. Then we have The Incredible Hulk. This is the one with Edward Norton. And I think this is like a forgotten, this is probably the most forgotten Phase 1 film. And it's really good. The story itself is really good. Everybody in it does a good job. I'd recommend everybody go back and rewatch this. And it says all deleted scenes. I didn't watch all the deleted scenes. I did watch the alternate opening, but and it has a Captain America Easter egg in there, but it doesn't really tie in with the first Avenger movie. But you know, I'm getting off point. I'd recommend, from what I've heard, I'd recommend watching this with the deleted scenes, because the deleted scenes is the Edward Norton cut, which they cut a lot of the movie out that he had pieced together, and that's why he wasn't in the Avengers, because he didn't have enough creative control. Like I said, this is probably the most forgotten Phase 1 movie, or overlooked. I'd go back and revisit if I were you. Then I watched Iron Man 2. This one a lot of people didn't really like. I kind of liked it. I felt that it was like it was more of a continuation than a sequel. Is it more like setting up the Avengers universe? I don't really like how they took two characters though, two villains, and they merged them into one. They took Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo, and kind of turned them into one character. But it worked out. Mickey Rourke did a good job, but you know, you probably don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Then I have Thor. I actually just did a review on this not that long ago, so I won't go into another one. This is the Best Buy exclusive with the comic book on the back. This one was actually, this is probably the surprise for me. I didn't know how they were going to do Thor. Everybody else was talking about, you know, Captain America was going to be the hardest one to do. For me, I thought it was going to be Thor. And they nailed it just right. Did a good job. They cast a perfect Loki. They did a really good story. I like how they did the story. Then there's Captain America. This is also the Best Buy exclusive with the comic book on the back. This one I really liked because, you know, I really like the World War II movies. I like movies in the 50s. I like that that time period. So this was good. And the way they had Chris Evans when he was real skinny and real scrawny, I thought that was cool how they did, because, you know, it looked legit. Alright, then we have the Avengers. I just did a review on this, and I believe it was my last video, or my second to last video, so I won't go too much into this. So I watched this, and the next day I watched Captain America the Winter Soldier. I'll leave a link to that review in the description box. Very good movie. It was awesome. I went there for the midnight premiere. But when I went to go buy my tickets for the midnight premiere, I found out that there was an 8:15 showing. But it was like 8:10 when I had to do that. I had to go drop off my kids, so there wouldn't have been enough time. But I'll remember that in the theater next time for what's the next Marvel movie? Spider-Man 2? The Amazing Spider-Man 2? I think that's the next one. Alright. And then, for the rest of the week, I watched Burn After Reading. It's a nice dark comedy by the Coen brothers. This is hilarious if you haven't seen this. You got John Malkovich, who gets pretty much fired or forced to quit the CIA. This is his wife. What is it? Not Frances McDormand. Tilda Swinton. That's her name. She is having an affair with George Clooney. And George Clooney is all over the internet, in meetpeopledc.com or something. He's cheating on his wife with her, and he's also meeting chicks on the website that he's screwing. Then you got Frances McDormand, who works with Brad Pitt at Hard Bodies, and after John Malkovich gets fired, or forced to quit, he starts writing a memoir of the CIA. And then the wife is trying to divorce him, so she takes a copy of everything on the computer, and the lawyer's secretary leaves the disk of their backup to all of his files, you know, his money files and all that stuff. And his book is on there, so the janitor finds it, and then these two, Brad Pitt and Frances McDormand, think that they're going to extort Osborne Cox. They call him to let them know about the security of his shit, as Brad Pitt puts it. So he doesn't want to play ball. They take it to the Russians. This movie's hilarious. Brad Pitt's character especially is hilarious. If you haven't seen this by now, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Alright, then next up, I watched Hocus Pocus. This movie came out when I was a kid. And I always wanted to watch this, but for some reason I just never got around to seeing it. I don't know, I never rented it or nothing. But I always wanted to see it. It wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, but, you know, it's still really good. If I had watched it when I was younger, and then repeatedly over and over, I'd probably have more of an attachment to it. But it was really good for what it was. You know, you got these three, they're witches, they get a curse put on them, and then they come back, I want to say 300 years. I want to say 300 years later. There's a story going around town that they can only be brought back by a virgin. And this idiot thinks he's going to dispel that rumor, and as a virgin he lights the candle that brings him back to life. What a dummy, man. But yeah, this movie was good. I got that from the Disney Movie Rewards Club. Then I watched Silver Linings Playbook again. I actually just did a review on this a couple of videos ago. Great movie. The second time, it was still funny. Highly recommend that if you haven't seen it. And then I watched Skyfall for the second time. I watched it when it first came out. I wasn't a fan of it, so I thought maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I watched it again, and this movie, it just wasn't that great for me. This, to me, is the weakest one of Daniel Craig's movies. Maybe it was overhyped. I don't even think that was just overhyped, because I sat down and I just watched it, you know, as it was, and it really wasn't that great to me. I think Casino Royale is the best Daniel Craig movie, and then I liked Quantum of Solace. Well, I know a lot of people hate it and call it a piece of crap, but I thought it was better than this one. I really don't see the sparkle or whatever, the attraction to this. I didn't like Skyfall. And then the last movie I watched was Wishmaster. I watched the first one. This is Wes Craven is the director in this movie. This is basically like a modern day version of Aladdin, but not goofy. It's like based on the actual stories of the jinn. It's really good. These are the only two I recommend watching. I think I've seen 3. I think I've seen 4, but only the first 2 are good. The first one especially. It has Robert Englund in it. It has Kane Hodder in it. It has Tony Todd in it. Tony Todd? Is that his name? The guy that plays Candyman. I'm pretty sure his name's Tony Todd. A lot of special appearances in there. Great horror movie. I keep saying I'd recommend it, but I would recommend it. Alright. That's what I got for today. So if you haven't seen my review of Captain America the Winter Soldier, like I said, I'll leave that description, or I'll leave the link to the review in the description box. This week, as you saw in my last video, I'm going to start doing themes of what I watch every week. This week is all Ninja Turtles. So what I plan to do is I want to watch all the movies, even the animated one. I don't think I've seen the animated one all the way through. And then I'm going to watch the new TV show. I probably won't be able to watch all the TV shows I have in 1 week, but I'm going to try it. So look for that video next week. That's all I got for now. So I guess I'll leave you with a goodbye. You know, stay true. Stay blue. The Blu Rays. I gotta run because I have to return some videotapes. Let me know if you know what that reference is. You should know if you watched my last video. But I gotta go return these videotapes, so I'm going right now.